I think our meeting here and discussion is a little bit bigger than that, and I think it's going to become a little bit more controversial down the road because of all the events that has taken place, and we move into the point of the director having some issues about being removed because of the event. I think that from my perspective that the event or this process of removing the director, Dr. Jeffries, is the opening for other things. And the issue that came up even at the event was having the new center to remain at this location. And there's powers above and beyond that want it to be moved to the Poindexter site. And I think by removing Dr. Jeffries from the position, it opens the door for more persuasion to move the center to somewhere else. So that's what I think.
So what you're saying is you didn't see, as a result of this event and your participation, why the action was needed to take it?
Right. If the action is taken because of the event, it's not, to me, it's not merited. That was just an opportunity that probably little things were happening, and the powers that be seized the opportunity to make a decision to do what they're about to do. So that's what I feel, because yes, some things have maybe going on, but it has been clear that Dr. Jeffries and the center and the community want the center to be here, and there's also a known fact that the powers wanted to move it, specifically the PAC want to move it to the Poindexter site. We were told in public that if it's to be moved there, money isn't the issue.
So what you're saying, in essence, is it's a ruse to fire Dr. Jeffries on the pretense of what happened at this event. What they're really wanting to do is move Dr. Jeffries because they want to move the facility over to Poindexter.
That's scenario A. Scenario B will be that you create such confusion that you don't do anything and never build a center.
And just take the money.
Well, I don't know about what they're going to do with the money. The question is you can create enough confusion to say, well, the neighborhood is divided. Well, the neighborhood may have some issues with here or there. Some people may want it there, some people may want it here. So once you remove the leadership that made a decision for here, then you have half the energy. And what that means, one, that they will determine the fate of it, or two, there will be no center being built in our time.
Okay.
So I think those are the two issues there that need to be flushed out.
And also is that my perspective on that is that being an administrator, I'm Dr. Tom Simpson, administrator and principal at East High School, 1,700 kids in Olive Arms when they brought them there. And as I perused through the community, just the guys, and I'll use this term, on the corners up there, they saying, the black president of our state is coming to the center. And the kids from Bolivar Arms got a chance to come over because now my kids, their kids are here. And being a business person in the community, that they was just excited just to know that the president from Ohio State University, first black president, as a young kid, said he's at the center. Now, they couldn't get in the center, but it's just the idea that he was there and they was on the outside, and Dr. Jefferson said, he's got a, what they call crowd control, and it was very nice. Now, remember, this community has changed, and it was very orderly, and he had security, people enjoyed themselves, the food was great, as we said, and why would they want to move it? And this man works 24/7 here.
Why do you think they did that? Why is this all happening?
Well, it's coming from somewhere, because it could be from the community, because all I hear is good things about him. He's well known here. I'm talking about from my parents knowing my name. He's out in the community. He's visible. I mean, we talking about 2 blocks and you right at Bolivar, and this was a big time. When you came to Columbus, you came to the Mount Vernon Plaza. Like you go to Chicago, certain places, go South Side. And he's that type of guy. He's visible, he's young, he's active, he's direct, he knows where he wants to go, and I think he'd be successful to talk about should he be removed. Well, that was shocking to me. And it was orderly, and you can't get, and it's small, and he had let everybody know that if you come because of room, trial control, you get security, because we live in a different age now. And there's a lot of dope out there we didn't have it, and it was very well controlled.
Yeah. I'm glad that you're speaking to Dr. Jeffries' leadership, and I think that, if anything, when we talk about the reception and also the controversy at hand, we have to first recognize that through his leadership, he facilitated this opportunity for the community to meet the president.
Yeah.
And that he had the community in mind, that it was important to bring the president, that leadership to the community, and for the community to meet the president.
That's right.
That's the first thing. The second thing is that, you see that with the intentions of that, you have to understand that, there's a certain sense of responsibility that comes with bringing the president of the Ohio State University to any event. That oftentimes, I don't think people understand that, guests are vetted. People want to, the president's cabinet may want to know who's on that list, and even prior to the reception even taking place. And so there's a responsibility to make sure that the people who RSVP, who attended the event, are there, and that may mean that other people can't get in. And rules are rules. We operate in a society where we have to follow the rules.
And my thing was,
we in the community have felt an undercurrent for several years now, 4 years at least, where there's been discussion to move this center to Mount Vernon and Champion Avenue on the old Poindexter Village site. As a Near East Area Commissioner, there have been presentations made by Moody Nolan. There have been various representatives representing the PACT, which is Partners Achieving Community Transformation, which includes Ohio State, City of Columbus, and Columbus Metropolitan Housing Authority. Different parties have alluded to in private meetings, in large community meetings, that this center is going there for some time. Our director, Dr. Jeffries, held a community meeting after hiring Moody Nolan first to put together a project for this site. They did that. The community present voted in support of that proposal and was very excited and said, move forward. So we in the community, we on the commission, see something strange going on. This is another avenue. By taking Dr. Jeffries out of the picture and putting an interim director in, you neutralize the community's interaction with our director, who's helped shepherd the community's wishes for this center. So when he's gone, they have free rein to take it where they want. And it's obvious this is what's going on.
And my point is, here Dr. Jefferson is out on the limb, wanting to protect this center. And there's always some people outside, gang members and all that, but he is respected in his community. And what happened was, it was the inside, the people that had all the education and want to remove him of all the work he's done. It wasn't the people out here to come in to raise hell, to talk like that, but it was the people that was educated that came in politically, want to oust him on something that, and he had policemen here for protection of the people, not because he thought it was it, but it's just a safety precaution. Being a lot of kids, you need that. But it was inside that people came here to raise, and I don't understand that, because this man works 24/7 here to do this.
Dr. Simpson, Mr. Moessner, I think if you understand the history of this center, how it was put together as a struggle against the university, not with the university. The people had to go out and get their own money to create this center. And when they created it, the university didn't add any money to it. So it's just a continuation of the struggle that this center has had from its beginning. Dr. Jeffries and his staff and people who supported him, elected officials, went out and got $1 million.
Yes.
And we're using that as the base to build this new center. The plans have been put in place. But again, the university interferes. The university has its own approach. The university has its own program. In the beginning, when this place was built with Dr. Nelson and his staff, the university attempted to intercede and would not give him money. Now, let's just stop playing. It's about bigotry, it's about control, and it's about a lack of resources. The bigotry is that the university and its leadership doesn't give much respect to the leadership in this community and on this team. They don't want to share resources to build this center up. We've had to fight from day one. This is, again, a good illustration of that. They want to control the site. They want to control what's in the center. They don't want community people to have input because the concept is to build a community up using the resources of the university. That's antithetical to what they believe. We believe exactly that. The resources of the university should come out here. They should come out here in this center. And that's what we want them to do. But this university continuously has a problem with that idea. They do it for the extension center and agricultural stuff, but they can't do it for anything else. And then the black people in this community, the black faculty and staff, continue to find resources, continue to build programs, continues to build a place where people can come to extend themselves, and the university constantly fights against us. I think this is another example. Dr. Jeffries is a symbol of their tyranny against us.
Right. And I think he's gone on and raised $1 million himself, where he has money, and he picked a great staff. They stay on the phone to make sure that you be at your meetings, that you call you. They're very kind. So they just got to give him some credit. He's very well organized.
But but what's on top of all of this is that and I say this, that with all the education that exists with the deans and the chair and even with Dr. Jeffries, all this movement that's taking place, it's all done hiding behind a computer.
Yes.
At no point in time there's no conversation with if there's something wrong, or if the university was upset because they're taking action. At no point in time did anyone that has the authority to do this say, let's sit down and talk. To me, that to me, it goes back to the men who gave the first degree. What did they have? They didn't have any. So having degrees, if you don't have decorum or the common decency to another human being, then I'm saying that's a sign that we're in trouble with this center and everything, but they don't care to be human. And to me, when you get to that level of academics, no way that if something like this should happen, that you don't have the understanding to say, I want to talk to the person and meet with them. Everything up to this point about us defending or not defending or discussing this whole scenario, the bottom line is it's inhuman with people that have the authority and spent time to be at the top in the world with a PhD and cannot communicate with another human being. I think that's the travesty of all of this. Forget everything else. When we get to the point where we have a university cannot relate to the human, that tells you that they're going to want to do everything inhuman to get what they want. And I mean, we can talk and strategize. To me, that is very, very unearthing and unmoving for me. That we can get so high in education or include ourselves in an institution, and yet we hide behind an inanimate object and don't come and sit down like humans and discuss. And we're less than the lower animals. At least the lower animals will have a confrontation, win, lose, or draw. We are less than them. And that to me bothers me. And we've had our disrespect dealing with the pack in Poindexter. And now we see they use the whole system in a little event to say we're going to remove a director and do our own thing without even having a conversation with the director or bringing people together says, this is what we're going to do. And that's the thing.
And I had a community member who's been involved with this center come to me today, knock on my door, and ask, what's going on with Director Jeffries? What's going on down at the study center down there? I need to know. He said, we're not going to let them divide our study center. We're not going to let them bring down that study center. Dr. Jeffries has done a lot for it. We have momentum. The community knows what he wants, what it wants. We want that. He said, we have to have a meeting. The community has to have a meeting soon to find out what is underneath all that's going on.
I agree.
And following up on that, I had a call to people along the line of what you're talking about. I cannot understand if you have a party and I send you an invitation. Now, we only got certain space. Now, either you come, say you're coming, or you don't come, because I got to decide how much food, safety, and all these things. He did that. Okay? Now, if you didn't get to come, don't come. So I can't have one person, because they couldn't get here, created all this rigmarole, going to, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but Dr. Simmons, you need to know that it's not about the event. It's about an excuse to remove this man.
But that doesn't make sense. Remove a man because one person?
No.
She was invited. You could have come if you said, I'm coming.
It's not about that. It is an excuse to do what they want to do. The bigger picture is the location of the extension center.
Okay, Dr. Simpson, let me tell you how. Did you want to go by? I mean, you go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say not just the location, but the whole idea of creating a new community extension center.
Yeah.
I think that's the real deal. As you said, Dr. Jeffries is a symbol of the struggle against the tyranny of the university with respect to black people, right? Particularly the department and the community in general, by its practices of not having many black staff, by its exclusion of blacks. There's not so many who are enrolled right now. How many was it you shared a statistic with me the other day with regard to freshman class, and how many of those were African American?
Less than 400.
Right. So it's that kind of thing. So because Dr. Jeffries has done so much for the community, he's strengthened the community, he's made the center more visible, he's made it a world-class outfit. And so, that's a problem for some people. And a lot of people may see that as a threat to the existing power structure as it is. And building a new center would only strengthen that, right? Because it would draw more attention to it, get more use of it, strengthen this community. They want to go ahead and take over that area, the Poindexter area. They only want to do that to justify what they've done by destroying Poindexter. And this would be, their way of saying, here, look at what we're giving you, to get people to buy in to the travesty that's occurred over there already. So that's...
So I understand, and I think we can all agree that the bigger issue is that there is a strategy to move the center, right, from the current location. But I think it's important to focus on what the impact of that, decision would mean, and and what I see the danger in this situation is that the community becomes stifled, that they become voiceless. Their voices are pushed to the margins. Because when you remove effective leadership that has the community first in mind, that's what happens.
Yes.
The community loses the leader and their voice and the vision of how they see, how they want the center to serve the community. And that's what's at stake here.
Right.
So this is really a fight for the community.
Right.
And for effective leadership, which the community already has, and we need to protect that.
Can I carry that a little further? The synergy that exists as a result of this location, because the Urban League is down the street, because the King Arts Complex is down the street, and across the street is the plaza, and down here is the county service center.
And we have neighborhood house.
And we have neighborhood house. The synergy of being here versus going down to an isolated place makes sense more so to be here. But again, what you said is the struggle with the ignorance and the lack of involvement and understanding from the administrators upper, and as you said, Brother Brown, in the university. But it's also the continuation of the struggle between how this extension center was created because black students were rioting on the campus of Ohio State, and one of the demands that they made was the creation of this extension center. So it's never been Ohio State's thing. Ohio State has never really supported it. Ohio State never saw it as its vision. It is something that they were required to do.
As a land-grant institution, it should be inherent. This is what
they do it with the extension center.
They do it with every other extension center.
Yeah, they do. They have this program called Ag Extension,
right,
where they go all over the state doing things. But when you say you want to be in the black community and do something for black people, the university seems to have a difficult time. If you understand the history of this center, how they struggle just to get here, how they struggle just to maintain themselves, and now they've gotten some money, and the university wants to take that money and do what they want to do with it, not what the community wants to do with it.
Exactly.
And if you want to show, if we say how can they take a little thing like this, well, we've had historic buildings, the Poindexter Village. They went in and said that the buildings were unsafe, unstable. Now those buildings, if you put a tank in them on the top floor, it will stand.
Yes.
They just spent $30 million in renovating them. And yet they told the story of that it was unfit. Or it cannot be used. It was falling to pieces. And they was able to perpetuate that in the community and in the powers that be. PAC was part of it, which OSU was part of that. And they got it torn down. So to take an incident that that occurred on the 28th of October at the reception and say we're going to remove a director because of that incident. Now, if it was stated that we're moving the director because of all these things, then that's different. But if you say, and all the information that we've been informed of, it is referencing that incident. So unless there's a hidden agenda, then we need to know that as the community. Because if you're now telling us and documenting because of this event, we're doing this, then we're saying then that's unacceptable.
Right.
You have to present a lot of other things. If there's been a history or whatever else building up to this event, then you need to say that.
Well, not only that, but there was nothing done wrong in this event.
Well, what see,
Right?
wrong, I agree.
So for them, it's a false premise all the way around because there was nothing done wrong. Everything was done right.
Are you saying they would have to manufacture it
Exactly.
if it exists?
It is manufactured. I'm not saying that they would have to. I'm saying that to make this event, to say that there was something wrong with this event is a manufacture of itself.
Absolutely.
But yeah, but we have to put a balance. In this way, yes, the event was wonderful, but what the other balance is that people were upset that they were unable to enter, and which caused that. So inside may be fine, but there was something that occurred because we can't deny that something occurred because that would be ignorance on our own part.
But
what I'm saying,
rise to the level to fire.
That's the point. So you got to accept what happened.
Even if what happened was to that level, but I'm saying that a person who was not invited.
Yeah, but see,
right,
what we're doing,
regardless of whether they were invited or not, regardless of whether they RSVP'd or not, if their name wasn't on the list, they didn't get in.
Yeah, but what I'm saying here is that what we're saying that is true. Whatever that's the protocol. What I'm saying here, if the university is saying because of this event only that we are removing the director, then there's something is wrong.
There is no ground.
There's no ground.
There's no evidence to support that.
Unless you can present us with more information, then that's what you did based on that is wrong.
But again, that fits into the history of the university.
Exactly.
It fits into the history.
You build on what is, you know, and you don't say that nothing exists. Oh yeah, it exists, but let me make it clear: is that enough?
But the thing about it is, What about his evaluations prior to this? He's young. What about his boss? This man has done all this by himself, working hard. He's young, he's done all the things. Now we're talking about, because a person couldn't get in, we're talking about removing a man.
Yeah, but
now what about his evaluation? What kind of evaluation is
I think that's all legitimate. And I think in a court of law where evidence is provided, your question would have validity. But we're in a court of administrative moves and politics of the university. And in the administrative court of the politics of the university, they create incidences to justify what they want to do.
They can't justify. They've done found an incident where they can start a fire.
Right.
To bring attention.
Yeah.
Right, so now where are we?
But they don't have evidence.
Right, so the point is, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Right, so
what do we do with this situation
That's
now?
the point.
We've had a spirited conversation here. We need to kind of wrap things up. So we wanted to get some closing comments from each of the panelists on what do you think are the next steps, and just your overall opinion of how the director is being treated.
I think that the next step should be, one, that we demand a meeting to get more information from the university to justify this move. Yes. Two, they should have a community meeting immediately to bring people in to hear their comments.
Yes.
And three, I think we should continue to put the pressure on the university to give us the truth of
yes.
what they're doing, and to see if they're committed to putting a center here no matter what, and not moving it, or if this was the distraction from moving the center and they're going to continue. So we have to get answers to those. That's my comment, is that we need to demand answers to those questions.
I think we need to ratchet. I think what you said is the base, but we need to ratchet it up to the university. What's your commitment to this center? What's your commitment to this community beyond what we're talking about? This center's been here for several years, and the university has acted just like it's not here. We want the resources, the support necessary. So, President of Ohio State University, Mr. African American, what's the university's commitment to a unique opportunity called the African Studies Community Extension Center? What's your commitment to that? Instead of trying to play games with it, why don't you give more resources to it to let it do what it needs to do? This is a rouge. It has no basis. Stop playing games with us. The history of this extension center is littered with games that the university has played. You're continuing that. Stop it, and let's work together to make the center a better place.